Hey guys, welcome. I'm Jeff Danker. Today, I'm going to talk about the best food sources for the time of year it is for whitetails. So just casually getting into this, I believe for me, and just my opinions, but to have the best farms, to have the best shot at your deer seasons, I believe it always starts. I mean, it's what I call big buck work, and kind of starting in those best food sources for the time of year. We start with summer, and I say that because that's kind of where we're at right now, and so probably for me, the best food source is going to be alfalfa. It's something maybe you don't hear a lot. Alfalfa to me, for somebody that has a farm, whether that's a lease, whether that's something you own, and especially for something you own, is alfalfa. To me, I can plant in the fall. That's the big thing. You got to plant the year before for your summer plots. But when I plant alfalfa, guys, and you can do the same, it's money back in your pocket. To me, especially in Kansas and Oklahoma and even Missouri and parts of Iowa, whatever it is through the Midwest and back east as well, but you get so much protein in the summer. I believe you can use alfalfa you bring other deer from other farms. They all just want to be there. But what I'm talking about, guys, is you can actually make money. See, if you plant soybeans or even corn at times, it's good, and then the farmer comes and picks it, and you kind of lose your food. You can make money, but with alfalfa, you can get maybe 3 or 4 cuttings a year, and every time you cut it, it's just as good as it was. And so I really, really like alfalfa. Again, what you have to do is you want to plant that in late August or September. A lot of times what I want to do with that is plant alfalfa and then plant wheat with it kind of for a cover crop that first. It'll kind of help that and protect it as you go through the fall. And you just actually with alfalfa, you need like 3 leaves to come up that first year, and then the next year it's going to be good. But to me, that is one of the best summer plots. Now, to tag on to that in the summer, I do like milo. I love a milo. I believe that that grain, it puts a place for a deer to stay, to hide, and they love that. As soon as that milo will turn red in September, you will have more bucks. I mean, it's almost like not just a deer magnet. I think milo to be a buck magnet. So as you go through the summer with that, it's something that's easy to grow, it's cheap, and so I love milo. Again, we could get into a lot of different other things. I love to plant soybeans in the summer as well. You get a lot of protein, and really tagging on that for you is the soybeans, and we can talk about that in just a second as well. But I believe soybeans, if you plant them just a little bit later than an actual farmer would, you can get the green soybeans to line up with your opening day of season. And they're just deadly. I mean, they're deadly to kill big bucks, especially with a cold front in September or October, as long as they're green. That's something you always got to think about, is that time frame where they're not yellow. So then moving forward out of the summer, to me, that summertime is, bachelor groups. I'm watching from a distance, and it establishes your fall. It establishes your preseason that we just talked about. And so with that, the best food plots for early season, I have to kind of go back to what we just talked about, and that's those soybeans. That is probably my #1 kill plot for preseason. I'm talking like Kansas, Oklahoma, again, through the Midwest, especially where you have something that is September. Maybe October 1st works as well, but like food plots, again, going back to the soybeans and planting them late. If you really watch a farmer with soybeans, most of the time you're ending up with, a lot of velvet footage throughout the summer, and then you're coming into your preseason or your hunt there, and they're yellow. And once they start to turn yellow, your deer are going to leave. So we're planting those late. You need rainfall, but you can plant them late as long as you can get that rainfall. So if you can plant them, and you can say your soybeans are this tall September, or you're lining up with October 1st, whatever that is for your preseason hunting or your early season, I guess. it's deadly, especially mixed with a cold front, a barometer on a drop, whatever. So again, that is probably my number one food for early season that I can control. You know, there's many times you guys will be, you know, if you're just somewhere, you got to find the deer. You know, you use the dirt roads, you're driving around, oh, they're on this, they're on that. But as me preparing, that is what I would tell you. You know, and then as we get to rut, and kind of guys, it's a stair step, right? It's the summer, it's the early season, and it all gonna matter. It's just like the Milo that I talk about in summer, one of my favorite things. When you get to the rut, it's right back in full swing for you. I mean, the grain is still there, the cover's still there. And so as I get to the rut now, my number one in the rut would always be like if I roll into an Iowa hunt or North Missouri or wherever, a cut cornfield during the rut, you know, and I'm talking about, you know, Halloweenish up until even through November. Those deals is where I'm going to be a lot, is a cut cornfield. If there's a cut cornfield, that's the first place that I'm going to observe. That's the first place that I'm going to find. I've just seen so much success with people that I respect and that are great hunters, and then I've had so much success over those cut cornfields. That's just, you know, kind of to put it in perspective, is I'm no biologist or nothing like that, but what I've seen is corn is you know, it's really doesn't have a lot of protein. It's not really good for a deer, but it's a carbohydrate that heats the body somewhat. And so as we get into those Midwest states and we get into that cold weather, it's just where the does are going to be, right? That's what we're hunting. When we get into that Halloween and all that stuff, that is where you want to be. And really my success in that, when I talk about the rut, I want to kind of dig a little bit into that, is I'm looking for that almost pre-rut. So when I'm on that cut cornfield, is that I'm just hunting the does and I'm hunting frustrated deer that are coming to that cornfield only because they know the does are going to be there. So again, my number one in the rut will be a cut cornfield. You know, at that other time, you don't get this a lot, but soybeans that are standing, you know, I don't like corn that's standing because, I mean, you're in trouble then. Too much places for a deer to hide, but standing soybeans can also be very good in that time. But the problem with standing soybeans is you got to plant so many early for there even to be any standing soybeans left if you have very much deer density at all. So again, summer leading to the early season, leading to the rut, it's a stair-stepped effect, but you know, the corn is, and usually I'm not planting a lot of corn. It costs so much money to plant. I'm not prepared to harvest it. If you can, there's money to be made there. And then going into late, and again, the stair-step effect of the best food sources for that time of year. And now we're into, guys, some of the best hunting there is. It's something that I think as hunters, we miss a lot because we're either tired or we're thinking the best is already gone. And so many times, late season, it can almost be unfair with the right weather conditions and the right food. It's like if you ever talk to a seasoned person that's going to a late season Iowa hunt, that's the number one thing is weather and food. If you got weather and food, it's almost unfair. So you can actually plant to that as well. And you know, you're looking at stuff like standing corn and standing soybeans, grains, the alfalfa. So again, the stair-step effect with anything that I'm planting on my farms is I'm wanting something that's always there. I mean, that to me is the trick, guys. It's not that you're a better hunter. It's not that whatever, but to be consistent, I think the big buck work really never stops. And you know, you guys, you're listening to this, you're probably just like me, you're always thinking about it, right? I mean, it's always, what can I do? What can I do better? And that's what it is. It's almost like if you would think of it as you could plant food. You know, people talk about, oh man, we got to be careful of their footsteps. We got to make sure we don't penetrate this sanctuary or whatever it might be. And this can all be true, but you plant enough food and you got that right condition, you almost can't run those big bucks off. And so as you start in the summer, you go into early season, you get into the rut and now post rut and have that place with everything on it. You know, you got your standing corn in places, and maybe you got a big cut cornfield and you talk to your farmer and you leave so much of that stand and have that food, because this is maybe, I would tell you from my perspective, maybe the most important thing as a deer hunter. You know, I think we would probably put emphasis on the early season or the summer or whatever, but when you take the post and you take that late season, now this is, to me, when you steal everyone's deer. Because a lot of people now are done, they're off to new things, Christmas is here, whatever, and all of a sudden if you got more food than your neighbor and you got all that, whatever it might be, this is when them big bucks will yard up and all the deer will end up in one place. And let me just tell you, when that happens, going over into the next year, that is where them big bucks are gonna stay. Because a big buck, he kind of gets his pick, and that's where he'll end up. So all of a sudden, you're looking around and you're going, man, how am I growing all these big deer? And in reality, yeah, you might be helping grow a little bit, but what you're doing is you might be stealing a deer from 5 miles down the river. And that is the key. And that's kind of what I've set out to do on my properties, whether they're little or big or whatever it might be, whether they're leases, something I own, my buddies' properties, whatever. And I think that has been, I think my success in hunting is just a stubbornness. It's just a stubbornness of, I'm gonna do everything I can, and maybe just a passion. And I know you have the same thing. And so, you know, what your pocketbook will allow, but again, kind of going back, guys, with the alfalfa and that kind of deal, you actually can put money in your pocket. And I just want to finish on this, is to explain that more, is I've not found the niche of making money other places and having good hunting. But again, back to the alfalfa, when you plant it, and then the more cuttings you get, the better. So every time they cut it, it just, you know, your alfalfa goes down, and now it's more tender, they're hitting it more, and the protein is unreal. So again, I hope this helps somewhat. This is just an old redneck hunter, and just kind of found my way that actually works for me. I'm sure there's many better ways that you might have. You might be thinking, oh no, you can do this better, and I would love to know them. But this is what has helped me, and this is what my focus is right now. And you know, I love shooting these big deer and deer in general, but I love this process of doing it, you know, of shooting it and then looking back and going, oh yeah, I put this in and I did this and I did that. And then the camaraderie and the buzz that we have with the group that we do it with, you know, from everyone that's hunting these properties, and we're working together, that elbow grease. And to me, there's just nothing better at the end of the day. So guys, from the bottom of my heart, I hope this helps. You know, always you can reach out to me and I would answer any questions if I have that knowledge. And so anyway, be blessed, kill a monster this year, and hopefully some of these tactics might help you.